the author of the best-selling book, The Parable of the Pipeline, Mr. Burke Hedges. He opened his book with a story about Pablo and Bruno, to take two very different paths in the quest of financial independence. What you about to see, it's a delightful animated story of their adventure. So sit back, relax and enjoy the life-changing lessons in the parable of the pipeline. Far away in a small village near a beautiful valley, lived two friends, Pablo and Bruno. They were both young and dreamed about a better lives for themselves. They often discussed their dreams, how they could become most successful men in the village. They don't afraid of hard work, and they searched for opportunities to help realize their goals and achieve their dreams. One day an opportunity presented itself. The mayor of the village decided to hire two people to bring water from the spring up on the mountains, crossed the valley back down to the village. They would be paid based on the amount of water delivered to the village. Bruno and Pablo enthusiastically got to work. Every day from morning till evening they carried buckets to and from the spring. They worked hard carrying water to the village. The evening they return home with their day wages. Bruno was satisfied with his work and the money he earning. He will sure with this work he could achieve his dreams. Bruno thought that to increase his wages, he could use bigger buckets to bring more water to each trip. He believed with a larger income, he would soon be able to buy a cow and the house he dreamed about. Now Pablo was not satisfied. The end of the day his back and hands ached and he was exhausted. He was looking for easier ways to earn more. One day an idea occurred to Pablo. He imagined building a pipeline to deliver water from the mountain spring to the village. With his pipeline he can get more water to village without carrying buckets back and forth from spring to the village. Soon he got very excited about his idea and began the plan. Pablo of course shared his idea with his friend Bruno and asked him to join work with him to build the pipeline. Bruno thought the idea was crazy. All Bruno can think about was his money could buy today and get quicker. He thought building a pipeline will slow him down and delaying achieving his goals. Instead Bruno got bigger buckets and went more often back and forth fetching water. He would sure with this method, he can earn more money. Pablo decided to build a pipeline on his own. He understood that not going to be easy to build, and it would take time to complete the pipeline. Pablo knew that it takes several years to finish. But he set his mind on his goal. Every day he worked and carried water like before. But on the weekends and during the spare times he worked hard to dig in the rocky soil and build his pipeline. In the first month there is little to show for his work. Bruno and villagers laughed and teased him. They called him Pablo the Pipeline Man. During this time Bruno's income doubled. He already bought a cow, bigger house, and his lifestyle changed. He now spent time after working in the bar and enjoying the hard-earned wages of delivering water. But Bruno didn't realize was his body starting to stoop from carrying the heavy buckets every day. His face looked worn, his body tired. Soon he began to carry less and less water due to the wear and tear in his body. Month after month Pablo worked. Soon a year passed, and the second year, finally Pablo finished his pipeline. He now used his pipeline to deliver water to the village instead of carrying buckets. Pablo is now earning more money than ever before. The water continued flowing to the village, while Pablo wasn't working, while he slept and ate. The water flowed. Pablo was happy and proud of inside persistence and hard work. Now his income flows as long as water flows through his pipeline. The story of Bruno and Pablo is the reflection of life. The jobs symbolize the most people do to earn money. Bruno gets his money using buckets. He goes back and forth carrying his buckets from the spring to the village. Exchange for money. To increase his income, he either has to go more frequently to the spring or using larger buckets. It's common in real life to increase our income by working harder. For an example, working overtime or getting a second job. We also increase the size of the buckets by accepting a higher paying position, which often include spending more time on the job. Most of us exchange time for money like Bruno. We know every person has only 24 hours in a day. And that's not possible to use all our time to work. The most difficult times comes. We no longer exchange time for money due to age, health, and other reasons. Then our income stops. Now let's review what Pablo did. Very wisely, Pablo did not exchange all of his time for limited income, but he used some of his time to build a pipeline. He knew the pipeline will bring ongoing income as long as the water flowed. The ongoing income that multiplied time. He worked each day. Pablo knew someday, maybe because of age or health, he would no longer able to exchange his available time for money. Pablo knew that if he could make his idea of a pipeline worked, he only have to do the hard work of building the pipeline. After the pipeline was completed, Pablo was able to monitor and maintain the flow of the water to ensure his income will continue. Pablo has shown us to earn an income. We don't always have to directly exchange time for money. There really are better ways. How about you? Are you still like Bruno, who directly exchanged time for money? Or you want to be like Pablo, building and maintaining pipeline for the ongoing income? If you are interested in the idea of building your own pipeline, please contact the person who lends you this website or this video presentation. You can start building your pipeline with team today.